Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coach Playbook with Paul LaPolice, your home for elite CFL breakdown analysis. Hey, let's talk about the West teams this week. I got a breakdown of the Calgary Stampeders today. We're going to talk about what they need to do to get back in the playoffs. Time to open the playbook on the Calgary Stampeders. Before we start, please subscribe to the page and turn notifications on. That does a couple of things. When you subscribe to the page, just more people get traction and see what we post. When you turn notifications on, you get alerted every time we post stuff. It helps drive CFL content out there on YouTube. So please do that. So Calgary's offseason. Interesting thing as you go into the draft. As I was preparing for the draft, looking at the Nationals, they did re-sign Jalen Philpott, young receiver, 2-year extension. I think Vernon Adams, obviously, being in the building, helped them. So obviously a lot of turmoil in Calgary. Don't make the playoffs first time in a long time. Well, what happens? Defense coordinator change, special teams coordinator change, quarterback change. They need to get better offensively. That's why Vernon Adams was brought in. So as the draft unfolded, what happened that really dictated where they're going in the draft? Cole Tucker is a 4th pick overall in the first round, 2023. He retires, leaving them with Jalen Philpott really as their starter and on a team that starts 2 receivers. So you knew receiver was going to be a priority. Damian Alford comes in, big receiver, first round pick overall, first pick overall from Syracuse, finished up at Utah, but big target, great measurables. So I'll be really looking forward to seeing this kid start to play. Okay, you start with preseason. This is what's kind of weird for the Calgary Stampeders. They had a game just a couple of days into training camp, and then they played Friday night, and they've already played both games. Calgary beat BC 26-16 last Monday, and then they also beat Edmonton just the other night, 31-4. So they've actually kind of got a week to prep for Hamilton week 1 to go forward. We'll do a coach playbook talking about preseason preparation coming up soon. So let's talk about some stats for this football team. All right, offensively, we'll start there. So last in offensive points, only 23 points per game is a big one. What they did do, they still run the football well. Offense coordinator Pat Delmonico, even with losing Dedrick Mills for a portion of that season last year, they still found ways to be creative and run the football. But where they really struggle is 30-plus completions. Last in the CFL. So they only had 19 passes over 30 yards. And what I mean by that is he can rush. It could be a screen that goes 35 yards. It could be a deep pass. So they did not have a lot of explosive plays. What's the problem with that? When you do not have explosive football plays, it is hard to flip the field. And it's hard to have 13, 14, 15 play drives in 2-down football on a 110-yard field. So that's an area that they need improvement. Second thing, second down conversion. They could not stay on the field. And, offensively, if you cannot stay on the field, your defense gets tired. You never flip the field. You never move the ball in a position to get, we're closer to the other side of the field now. So now when we keep punting, we back the defense up. So if you 2 and out too much, don't get conversions, you're going to get bad field position all game. And the worst thing, 8th in the CFL in giveaways with 44, just turned the ball over too much. So a combination of not staying on the field, turning the ball over, and no explosive plays is really going to hurt your ability to score points, as you could see. Here's an interesting thing I picked from the stats. 2nd in the CFL in red zone touchdowns. So when they got down there, they were very astute at scoring touchdowns, but they just didn't get down there a lot. Okay, let's look at defensively a couple of things. Offense points, 8th. Net offense, 8th. Not a lot of great things there. Talk about explosives. Let's talk on the other side of the ball. Sacks made, 7th in the CFL. So they didn't get a lot of productivity from their front. Only 7th in the CFL. And 9th in takeaways. 21 takeaways total. And that's crucial because we just said they're 8th in giveaways, they're 9th in takeaways. What's their turnover margin? Last in the CFL, minus 23. You will not win football games when you're last in the CFL in turnover margin. It's going to be very hard to. And remember, last year, Demarius Houston came in to help them get some takeaways. They did help. They were 4th in the CFL in interceptions. Damon Webb is another addition to try to help. Hey, can we get more takeaways on this football team? So those are areas they have to improve defensively, and we'll be looking forward to see what their plan of attack is. So a couple of things, I just talked about. The big coaching point for me, I usually write down 2 coaching points for a team this season. Need to become a better team on turnover margin. I just talked about it. All right. 20 most interceptions, most in the CFL. All right. You've got to find ways where, Vernon Adams is going to take some shots, right? But you got to make educated shots when you do it. You can't force the ball into bad situations. You've got to start finding ways that the pass rush can influence the quarterback to making bad decisions or get to the quarterback and strip sack. So this turnover margin thing has got to flip. And when it does, it easily leads into wins. So you just can't live in 9th. That's my big coaching point. 1-8 on the road last season would be my next point. They got to find ways to win games better. And again, I talked about at the top. Defense needs more playmakers. 9th in the CFL in takeaways, 8th in net offense, 7th in sacks. Well, how do you do that? What do? You got to give up a big player, Cameron Judge. Well, who do they get? Flo Orimolade comes in, should be that pass rushing player who can disrupt, strip sack, force quarterback into bad decisions. So I love that signing in the offseason for them. Hopefully Flo can help with that pass rush. An interesting thing is it's a pretty much whole new defensive line. Horseyer's gone. He's gone to Hamilton. James Vaughters goes to Winnipeg. Mike Rose has gone to Saskatchewan. They're all gone up in the front, but Fuller and Orimolade just talked about, he should be there to help them. And I think Vernon Adams is just what the doctor ordered for a deep ball passing team. Second to Bo Levi Mitchell in the Canadian Football League. Vernon likes to take shots downfield, and I really think he's going to help them become more of a big play thrower. Part of that is his legs. He's got the ability to scramble out of, quarterbacks either throw it on time. All right, you take your drop, ball's ready, the guy's open, I throw the football. That's on-time football. And pass rush doesn't matter if you're doing it correctly. But when people aren't open and the quarterback starts to hold the ball, that's troublesome for an offense. Unless you got a guy who can move around. And Vernon Adams is as good as anybody. He'll escape, he'll move around, the coverage will break down, and an explosive play will happen. That's what's going to happen to this pass game. You're going to see Vernon use his legs, and all of a sudden, deep shot. Why? Because scramble drills, people moving around, should increase their ability dramatically to get the ball downfield. When you're last in points, last in turnover margin, you need major offensive improvements, and we're looking to see that this year. All right, the roster big story. I talked about a couple of things. First round draft pick, Damian Alford, 6'6", 224 pounds. That is a big target that Vernon can take shots to. Damon Webb, can he bring takeaways? Got a bunch in Ottawa, 2 pick sixes for touchdowns last year in a game. Can he bring takeaways with him? And you can see what they've done in the receiving corps as I looked at their roster. Tevin Jones, Dominic Rhymes, Damian Alford. Jones 6'4", Rhymes 6'4", Damon Alford 6'6". Jones last year, 18 yards per carry on each catch. So some bigger targets for Vernon. I know he likes to push the ball downfield. That'll be interesting to see. Looking forward to all this change in Calgary, seeing what happens week 1 against the Hamilton Tiger Cats.